Hey guys, this is Ed, Paul, and Anna of Current Brand Media, and we are here to tell you a little bit more about our sponsor.
Sportsball is a great subscription service geared towards minor league baseball fans. Each box features a different minor league team.
You get a box every 3 months with minor league baseball gear, including different styles of hats like Ed's favorite, the dad hat. The cost is less than $12 a month.
Proceeds from each box goes to More Than Baseball, the only nonprofit dedicated to the well-being of minor league baseball players.
We all know that Parents' Days are coming up this summer, so if you've got a mom or a dad or a grandma or a grandpa who are particularly difficult to buy for, but you know they're baseball fans, this is the answer, guys.
Meet your new favorite team at sportsballbox.com.
Is there anybody there?
There's a rapid growth period here for soccer. If you look to 10 years ago, there was maybe 55 pro teams in the U.S. Now there's over 110. And I think you're just going to continue to see that growth.
What's up, Deadhead crew? Ed here. And on this episode, I give you guys Conor Caloia. He is the Chief Operating Officer for both the Madison Mallards and Forward Madison. We talked about how the Forward Madison, they came up with the name, the crest, and the story behind how that happened. We talked about the popularity of soccer growing here in the United States in comparison to baseball. It was a great conversation, guys. So without further ado, I'll give you the episode. All right. Well, I want to welcome you guys to yet another episode of the Dad Chronicles. My name is Ed, guys. And with me today, guys, I have the Chief Operating Officer for the Forward Madison FC of the USL 1 League. That's soccer, guys. And then Madison Mallards of the Northwoods League, Conor Caloia. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm great, Ed. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. I reached out to you because I saw Forward Madison is one of my absolute favorite logos and favorite teams out in USL 1, and coming to find out, you also have one of my favorite logos in the Northwoods League. So this is a plus here, my friend. It is a plus.
Well, good. We can talk some baseball and some soccer. And I can't tell if you've got one of our hats yet, but we'll have to get you a couple.
You know what? I'm all for that. I am all for that. I actually have one of the Madison Mallards, so I do have one of those, but
Thank you.
it is up here on the wall. So the first question I ask everybody is, how'd you become a fan of sports, baseball and soccer, really?
Yeah, so I grew up, I grew up playing kind of, I'm 40 now, so my generation, everybody played baseball, basketball, and football. That's what you knew. I had a short stint in soccer between the ages of 6 and 7. And that's what I grew up doing. And I loved sports. When I got to college at the University of Wisconsin, I knew I wanted to work in sports, thought I wanted to work in sports, thought I would be a sports agent, thought I would get a business degree. That just didn't quite work out. And I interned for the Madison Mallards after my junior year of college in the summer. And, I've kind of found my path and been fortunate to find my way into ownership of a minor league team. And in the last 5 years, we've gotten into soccer as well, which has been a great challenge and a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's again, it's a fun logo, fun team, in a very fast growing sport here in the United States. Before I continue, though, I want to make sure, because I have someone who is also a friend of mine who is a GM over at Danville, the Otterbots, Austin Schur.
Yeah.
Do you know that guy? Do you know that guy?
I do know Austin. Austin went to school here in Madison, worked for us, worked with us at the Mallards. I believe, if I remember right, I think I have this right, but I think Austin was a beer mover.
He was.
That was his official title. I was a beer mover when I was the PR intern because we all did everything. And, as a PR intern, I cooked hot dogs for the first 3 innings, moved beer for the next 3 innings, and then eventually wrote the game story without watching the game. So great journalism. But Austin was, has gone from beer mover to, I think, executive of the year in the league that he's in. So it's awesome to see him do well. And he's come a long way from lugging kegs around Warner Park.
Right. Nothing more fun than, logging some, heavy kegs during the middle of summer, right?
You bet. It's good. It's a good workout. I think I'm still missing my big toenail on my left foot from dropping a keg at the ballpark like 21 years ago. But But yeah, no, it's we've got a party deck, the Bush
Mhm.
Light duck blind, all you can eat drink, 1,500 people, and so we move a good amount of beer. We move a good amount of beer, and if you're a beer mover, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, you're earning
You're
your dollars. Yeah,
you're gonna earn that dollar right there
exactly.
for beer in that area. Um, Okay, so let's talk about the soccer team, Forward Madison here. Obviously, I did a little bit of research, and the logo goes back to 1979. A little story, a little backstory there for University of Wisconsin Madison, correct? If a little prank that was played there for a bunch of 1008 plastic flamingos.
You're right on. You're right on. So we crowdsourced everything. It was up to the fans. We had over 15,000 votes. The fans decided the team name, decided if we were football club or soccer club. They decided, our team colors, and everything was, provided to us by the community. We would constantly do these brackets and votes, and so we decided we're going to be Forward Madison, or the fans decided we're going to be Forward Madison. We decided the main kit was going to be blue, similar to the Madison flag. We decided we're going to be football club instead of soccer club. We didn't have an icon, and we'd hired a designer. We were, already behind on the design process. And halfway through that process, it just didn't feel quite right. We scrapped it, hired another designer, a local firm, Planet Propaganda, and we were struggling with an icon. Forward is the state motto. There's a statue of Lady Forward at the state capitol. It's hard for a statue to evoke much emotion. While it's a beautiful statue and it's a really good story, it's hard to make the icon of your team. So we tried a statue. We tried a fictional lake monster that lives between the two lakes here, apparently in Madison is a potential icon. And then we kept coming back to the flamingo. And to your point, Ed, in 1979, the Pail and Shovel Party, which was part of the student government when they were elected, I believe the first thing they did, for no other reason than to cause trouble, was to plant 1,008 plastic flamingos on Bascom Hill. It's the main kind of hill on campus. So 1,008 plastic flamingos. Every year they still plant them as a fundraiser. I think they were just planted last week.
Nice.
In 2005, the plastic pink flamingo became the official bird of the city of Madison. And so the city council, passed that big piece of legislation. And
that's
so
an important piece of legislation.
It is. Yeah. It's good to see they're getting something done. But anyways, we needed an icon, and we kept coming back to the flamingo, and then we had angry flamingo or less angry flamingo. Where we landed with the guidance of our supporters was kind of this more art-focused, art-inspired, Art Deco a little bit theme of the flamingo that pays homage to the four lakes, 11 players on the field. The sash across the middle mirrors are the sash and the city flag. So I think we're really happy with where we ended up. I will tell you, and keep in mind this is 5 years ago and things have changed a lot, but 5 years ago, the night before we were putting the logo out, pink is our dominant color, and we were the first pro sports team in America, I think, to have pink be a dominant color. And the night before, I didn't sleep great. I kind of thought, even though I was involved in leading the process, I'm like, we're making a mistake here. I don't think this is going to work. And it's been the best. I was totally wrong. It's been the best thing we've ever done, and fans have embraced it since day one. We've shipped merchandise to 50 states, 30 countries, have distributors in Europe and Asia, and we're just really fortunate the way people have connected with it.
You know what? It works. And I'll be honest with you, the reason why I became such a big fan of the club was you guys decided to do something different than the club, right? Like you went full blown, let's go with pink. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And I said, yeah, I like it. I'm a fan. And it works. It really does work.
Yeah, and in the club, I mean, kind of it's not our mission statement or a core value, but it's be different, take risks, have fun. I mean, that's kind of like a guiding principle of everything we've done. Be different, take risks, have fun. And our logo is different. Our kits have been different. The way we, I think, approach the community is different. And even the way, we let the fans pick our colors. We let the fans pick our team name. We're the only club in the country that allows their supporters to sell merchandise in our stadium. So, we pride ourselves on being different. Our road kit we give to the supporters. They get to design it and they profit off of it. So it's to your point, being different has been good for us.
And it's true. And these, I'm looking at the new kits that you have, and they are absolutely just they're they're a work of art. So you guys have done an absolute wonderful job with that. So when you guys decided that you guys were going to create a team, and decided to which league to go to, why USL? Why you guys decided to go that route?
Yeah, so the backstory on that, we took over Breeze Stevens Field. It's an old historic facility. In 2014, the city put turf in. 2016, we took it over. We just ran events there, ran concerts, did community festivals, but we knew we needed a primary tenant. And so, in 16, we started the pursuit of pro soccer. And for a while, we thought we might be the two team of an MLS team, that we might house here. We looked at doing what was the PDL, which is now USL League Two, an amateur platform. In our kind of vetting process over time, NISA was getting started as well, that league that's currently in the third division of American soccer. And then USL League One came on the map. And it just kind of felt like that was the right position for a market this size. It was a new league. We liked the idea of starting fresh. And it's been a good fit. I mean, we've got great partners in that league from an ownership standpoint. We've enjoyed our time in the league. Obviously, wish we'd be winning a little more than we have, but it's been a good experience. The league is well run and very stable, and I think we ended up in the right spot for this market.
And you guys are going against some really good areas, right? North Carolina, Charlotte, Northern Colorado, Richmond. So you guys have some teams that are really growing in areas where the popularity of soccer is growing a lot.
Yeah, we're in great markets. The challenge, we're in 12 markets across the U.S. So travel, especially being the northernmost team, is tough. But we are in great markets. We just added Knoxville, Tennessee the other day. Lexington, it will be in our league next year. Richmond, Greenville, South Carolina, like cool places to visit for our fans, with good atmospheres.
Yeah, Santa Barbara, Spokane, so that you guys are gonna get some, all across the
some
U.S.
miles, man. Yeah, we get some
You guys are putting some miles
on
on that.
Not cheap, but yeah.
So the model, obviously, USL One, which is like, I believe, is one step lower than USL Championship, correct?
Yeah, it's the third tier of American soccer. So Major League Soccer being the top tier, USL Championship in markets of mainly 1 million plus people, 27 markets across the U.S., bigger cities like Vegas, Phoenix, Detroit, Albuquerque, bigger cities. And then our division, League One, third division, 12 markets of around 500,000 to 750,000 people.
So does the team have any relationship with any other clubs in the MLS or Championship? How is that handled?
Yeah, in year one we worked with Minnesota United. In years 2 and 3 we worked with the Chicago Fire. The cooperation or the affiliations between the USL and MLS teams, those kind of ended a year ago. So we no longer work directly with an MLS team. Our ownership group, or a few members of our ownership group, did announce earlier this week that we are planning to bring a championship team to Milwaukee.
Okay.
In 2025, and so I think there is some synergy between having a third division and a second division team just an hour and 15 minutes apart. It will help us from a talent development standpoint. It will help us from a sporting resource standpoint, and I think there could be some collaboration there for sure.
That's awesome. I love that. I love to hear that. So now you have that club. You have Forward Madison, and then you have the Northwoods League. Now that you handle both clubs, correct?
I do. I do. I spend more time, on the soccer side of things. I kind of lead our soccer enterprises. But I started as an intern with the Mallards, been involved with that club for 17 of our 22 seasons. And so I still am actively involved there in the strategy, the overall operation of the business and our corporate partnerships. So it's good to be have baseball back after the pandemic. We had a strong year, and it was great to see the Mallards bouncing back, and a relatively new icon. We launched that in the pandemic in 21. And it's been really well received as well.
I remember that time when the team decided to go away from, which was happened to be a very popular logo, to this one, which is equally as popular. Um, why the decision to make the change?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. There's a couple parts to it. We had our first logo, our original logo for 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of like a cartoony duck, red eyes.
Yep.
And then we rebranded with more of an angry duck, which was a little, we felt we need to be fierce. Still remember when we rolled that out that I got a handful of notes from very, very nice, but grandmothers, about a half dozen grandmothers in the community who thought that it was too angry and not good for their grandkids. And they did have a good point. It was a little bit of a much tougher duck than what we were before. And then, as we were coming out of the pandemic, well, I don't even know that we were even fully out, but in 10 years of first logo, 10 years of second logo, we kind of thought we needed to rebrand at some time. We weren't sure when was the right time. We kind of thought it was a restart for the club. And the focus of that rebrand was really reconnecting with Madison. Not that we were ever disconnected with Madison, but we wanted to kind of affirm our commitment to Madison, and have a more Madison-focused, Madison-centric logo. And so that's what you see in our new logo. It's got the two lakes, the duck standing in between it, a Swiss cheese home plate as a homage to the great cheese-making state of Wisconsin. And then you see Maynard kind of calling his shot. Maynard, our mascot, calling his shot to the north side where the stadium's located. So, and then you have the Capitol in the background. So there is a lot going on, but we did want to reconnect and really kind of pay tribute to reflect Madison. And then our home kit, every kind of municipality in Dane County, the county we're in, is printed throughout the home kit to make pinstripes on the kit. So,
which is a great touch. Love that part.
Yeah, and I think Conor McGregor might get credit for it with one of his pinstripe suits that had a profane saying all the way through it. So that idea might have been lifted from him a little bit, but ours is much more kid friendly. And it was just another way that we wanted to reconnect or further connect with Madison.
So, right, you guys play in the Northwoods League and Forward Madison USO1. What are the similarities that you see when handling both clubs? I mean, because that's right, this baseball and soccer, yes, those are different, but I'm sure there's a lot of similarities to handling both those clubs.
Yeah, there is. I mean, the mechanics, the basics of running a sports business, your revenue streams, those are similar, right? It's ticket sales, it's corporate partnerships, it's merchandise, game day revenue. But I think I've been surprised how different the two businesses are. When we started the soccer team, so the Mallards have been around since 2001. Forward started in 19. When we started the soccer team, I think we thought we were just going to do what we did at the Mallards and bring it to soccer. And that's not what the soccer fan wants. The soccer fan wants to let the game be the action. The supporters are the entertainment. And it's a great atmosphere, but it's just totally different. And our research after year one shows like between 1 in 9 and 1 in 10 fans do both. So it's really two, really different audiences. Yeah. And on the corporate partnership side, you have kind of some of your staples in the community, beverage companies and power company and insurance and big players in town. They do both because they're very generous and support everything in the community. But you do have, different demographics. The soccer demographic is younger, more downtown, more diverse, more female. And then the Mallards, crowd's a little more family, a little more traditional. And so you've got different markets. So we've got different corporate partners at both. We have different ticket buyers at both. And really the way we go to market is a little bit different. There's stuff we can do on the soccer side that doesn't work on the baseball side and vice versa. I would say soccer is more of a lifestyle sport. So the brand's a little more edgy or a little more in a niche and not as mainstream. And we're definitely, and this is just how soccer is, I think, across the country, we're more interactive or the fans are more involved in what we do from a decision-making and direction of the club standpoint. It's really a collaborative community effort.
It's very interesting that you say that the entertainment is done by the fans, where in baseball, the entertainment is done by the entertainment group, right? Like the people that work there, right? But and you can see it when you're watching a soccer game, right? You see the fans are chanting, the fans are screaming and all of that. And that gets the players hyped up more than the other way around, where the players get the fans hyped up in baseball.
No, you're right on. It's, in baseball, you have 17 inning breaks. That's 17 opportunities to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
And in soccer, we kind of have to let the game breathe a little. People want to watch the game. The ballpark, what we do is great, but people are there to be entertained. And I would say the average fan doesn't know what the score was, who won or lost when
Right.
left at the ballpark. At soccer, people are here. They want to see goals. They want to see us win. They're cheering. They're into it. We've got 600 supporters banging drums, chanting, lighting smoke. It's a different atmosphere. They're both great in their own way, but really the energy, the heart of the ballpark, the heart of the soccer stadium is the supporters. That's what kind of keeps the atmosphere and the energy going.
Let's talk about that, like the supporters, right? Because that's something that's very football, well, soccer, that is, there's different groups that will still support the same club. Like, you guys have a bunch of them: Mingos Ladies, Featherstone, Forward Union, La Barra. So you guys got a few of them.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have a whole bunch. We've got the parent group, the Flock, which is the Independent Supporters Association, but then we've got Mingo Ladies. We've got the Featherstone Flamingos, which is our African American supporters group. La Barra, which is a great Latino focused supporters group. We have the Excessa Mingos. We're I think the only soccer club in the world that has a supporters group that's focused on individuals with disabilities and overcoming those disabilities and making sure the stadium is friendly to everyone that wants to attend. We've got an amazing group that started that, the Excessa Mingos, and they're great. So yeah, we've got a lot of great, and I'm sure I missed a few, Las Rebeldes, the old Flockers, which are the older gentlemen that come out. Yeah. I think so yeah, we've got a lot of great supporters. We've had great supporters from the start, but it's cool that we've got these different groups to represent different parts of the community.
And I think that's something that you're touching on, is like, the importance of the relationship between the club and the community. It has to go hand in hand in order for a club to be successful in your area.
Yeah, our job here is to build community. We want to build a community around the club. And while I'm one of the 4 owners of the team, it's the community's team. This team's going to hopefully be here way longer than I'll be. And we just kind of hand it over. Yes, we got to run it day to day, but we really got to follow the direction that the community wants us to go. It's their team. We got to be representative of them. And when they speak up, or there's an issue, or they have a problem, or they want us to do something differently, we're listening. And I don't think 2 days go by where we don't have somebody in this office doesn't have a conversation with a supporter about what we should be doing better or different, or how we should be interacting in the community.
That's big. And the fact that, like you said, it's like there's so many different clubs that are supporting of your club. It's amazing. It's great. And I love to see that. The relationship between Forward Madison and USL One is going to continue. You guys see yourselves staying around in that league long term?
Yeah, I think it's the right fit. We're a market of 660,000 people. It'd be challenging from the soccer businesses are tough to run as it is as a business. It's a lot of cost, and for us to move up to a higher league, one, there'd be a significant investment cost to do that, but two, there'd be a significant annual operating cost. And I think the market that we're in, I think we found our sweet spot. I think League One fits Forward Madison. I think Forward Madison in this market, Madison fits the other markets in the league. There's a lot of comparable markets in the league. So I think we've got a good fit where we are.
Let me ask you, and obviously someone who lives in North Carolina, I find myself watching a lot of Forward Madison games for example, on ESPN. How important is that to you guys that there is a platform that is showing those matches constantly for, across the US?
Yeah, it's great. The ESPN Plus partnership's been great. It is expensive for us to produce that broadcast and get it out, but it does give us exposure, across the globe. There's people watching us all over, especially domestically, and I think that's helped us grow our brand. I think for a while, as we started to ship more merchandise beyond Madison, we started to think like, should we focus on a market or target beyond Madison? And what we realized pretty quickly was, if we're cool to the people in Madison, we'll be cool beyond Madison. And so we always want to be Madison focused. Our investment, our more significant investments are always going to be based on the stadium here, the fan experience, and our local fans. But if something like ESPN Plus allows us to connect beyond Madison, I think that's only a positive thing for us.
Right, exactly. And like you said, the fact that you're taking care of your community first, and then once that's taken care of continuously, right, then you can grow the brand. Because if you don't have support from your local clubs or your local, people, there's no point after that.
No, you're right on. You're right on. We got to focus on our folks here first, and we've been great to have a wonderful connection.
Love it, love it. So Breeze Stadium Field, I'm sorry, is that the ownership group owns that as well, correct?
Yeah, so the Breeze Stevens Field is actually a City of Madison park. So we have a long-term lease on it. We've made significant investments here. We have the master use agreement, so we're the primary tenant, and we have control of it 24/7, 365. So any kind of rental or event comes through us. In addition to our 20 home soccer matches a year, we'll do about a total of 240 uses. About 160,000 people will come through here. Wow. So we have an events company as well that does a lot on top of just the soccer team.
That's impressive. That's a lot of foot traffic going into your area that would able to see not just the team but everything that you guys put together for the community.
Yeah, no, we've been fortunate that the city invested and has continued to invest in the facility to keep it in decent shape and in a good place for spectators. We're in a wonderful location, just 9 blocks from the Capitol. The stadium was built in 1926, and so we're nearing the 100-year anniversary of Breeze Stevens Field. So it's really cool to kind of have this old historic stadium right in the heart of the city.
Let's talk about a little bit about the way, and I'm sure you have people that handle this, but how the club does their recruiting of players. You guys have players from a lot of countries. So how is that handled by the club?
Yeah, so every team in American soccer is sanctioned by the U.S. Soccer Federation. We're allowed to have up to 7 international spots. So that's 7 players from countries other than the U.S. Our technical director and head coach, Matt Glazer, leads our recruitment of building our roster. And, it's a variety of connections, agents, and new players that we kind of, find from a scouting standpoint. So, we're in that process right now, starting to build the roster for next year. And we do expect there to be a pretty significant turnover on the roster as we look to next year. And, it's a mix of obviously domestic players, but some internationals as well. There's some internationals that have been in the U.S. playing for several years, and they're very comfortable in these leagues, and they understand how they operate. For example, I think we had 3 or 4 players that this was their first time in the U.S., and this was new to them. And they that's something you need to work with those players to acclimate and get comfortable and make sure that their surroundings, are conducive for them to have success on the field.
Yeah, and the more successful the team becomes, the better it is for the whole league. Do you think that we're in 2022? Obviously, is a very fast growing sport. Where do you see, in your opinion, the sport going? Because like I said, this is a very fast growing sport that we have not seen. We've seen baseball kind of slowing down. We've seen other sports being established, but soccer is really, taking a hold of a lot of popularity here in the U.S.
Yeah, I guess I can tell you where I see it going or where I think it should go. That might be 2 different paths. I'm doing personally from an investment standpoint, I'm doing a lot more in the soccer space than I'm in the baseball space. Baseball's great. I think baseball is America's pastime. It'll be around forever. But to your point, Ed, there's a rapid growth period here for soccer. If you look to 10 years ago, there was maybe 55 pro teams in the U.S. Now there's over 110. And I think you're just going to continue to see that growth. You're going to see, what you kind of see on the minor league baseball side, as far as having 220 minor league teams, 30 major league teams, and another 150 summer collegiate, you're going to see something like that on the soccer side the next 10 to 20 years. You're going to see a lot of markets like Madison or similar comparable markets to Madison that don't have pro soccer will. And, it's important that you get the demographics right. This business is challenging to run. So you got to kind of find the right markets where it works. And you got to make sure there's enough people and enough people that are interested in soccer to make it work. So I think it's important that we don't grow too quickly as a league or just domestically from a professional soccer spectator standpoint. But I think you're going to see, I wouldn't be surprised if in 10 years there's 20 to 30 more lower division pro teams, maybe 40. And that's just on the men's side. I think you're going to see rapid growth on the women's side as well. And my jab about where it's going or where I think it should go, what I'd love to see is promotion relegation. I mean that's something that every other country has, and I think the league or the group that figures that out in American soccer first, I think is going to have a distinct advantage and going to create a differentiating point from other leagues, because I think that's what drives the popularity of a lot of the European leagues and clubs, and it'd be pretty awesome to see that eventually here, in America.
That is a great point, because in my opinion, if there is relegation, right, that means there are less teams that are quote unquote tanking, the season to get a better, draft pick or whatever. And, that promotes more of a competition for other clubs as well.
Yeah, it does. And like if I forget the exact term, but I think it's the richest game in sports, when the English Championship League, the second division, when they have that kind of playing game for the third spot of who's going to move up to the Premiership. And, I think that's like a $200 million game. I mean, there's not a better live TV event than that. And so I know that the stakes wouldn't be quite as high here, but eventually from you talk about the importance of ESPN Plus, you talk about domestic TV viewership. I think, eventually if a league can figure it out, promotion relegation could drive that. Now it's challenging because at every different tier, there's different investment levels. And if you've invested significantly at a higher tier, you don't want to be knocked down and have your investment be worth less. So it's a really hard problem to solve or to figure out, but it'd be great to see that in the not too distant future.
I would love to see it. I think it'll be great. I'm all for I'm all for that. I think it's a great way, like we were just saying, just growing the popularity, growing the competition, better players, and like you said, look at the EPL, right? The EPL does it, and it's one of the most popular leagues all over the world, which is insane.
No, you're right on, and I think that's a big part of you kind of got your top six in the EPL, but that's what keeps the other teams relevant. That's what keeps people watching the other teams and from start to finish the entire season.
Awesome. Love it. Do you think that you could eventually see, I doubt it, but you could eventually see that in baseball as well?
Yeah, I think
that would be awesome to see that if you think about it.
It would be. Baseball is so developmental, right? I mean, the minor leagues, that's why the entertainment value is so high, because the baseball is developmental.
Yep.
And so it's kind of, I think they've got the right equilibrium there, that the baseball is developmental, the fan atmosphere is entertainment. It's just a good summer event. I think, I don't see the major leagues. I don't see the major leagues doing it, but I think if there's second and third divisions of any other sport, you could see it. And I think it'd be interesting. I think there's something missing there. I mean, I know as Americans, we think we do things better than everyone else. And I know, certain European countries think the same thing. I think the answer is somewhere in between. I think you take some of the some of the best elements, but what's going on in Europe and some of the best elements here, and kind of figure out how you put that model together.
Love it. Love to see that. Any other questions that I have not asked about the club or anything like that? I mean, like I said, it's a popular sport, so I wanted to get you on and see where Forward Madison stood, and this whole question of relegation, it could be its own episode.
Yeah. We'll come back and we'll get a few owners together, and they can see what
I
they have
would
to
love
say.
to. Yeah. Oh, that
Yeah,
would
I'll probably get in
be.
trouble for that. But yeah, no, I think we pretty well covered it, and I appreciate you giving us a chance to just share with some folks what Forward Madison's all about.
I love it, love it. And I looked at this morning. I looked at your shop. There's some really nice kits and things like that I would definitely am looking at as well. I did see a very nice, very pink dad hat is in there as well. So I'm all for it.
Send me a note. We'll send one your way.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan. All right, my friend. Are you ready for my famous, not so famous questions?
I don't think I'm not sure what I could do to prepare.
No, there isn't.
I'm
It's just
probably not
random
ready.
stuff.
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. So
So I'll
let's
ask
do
you an
it.
easy one.
All right.
When you go to, let's say you go as a fan to a match or a baseball game, what is your drink and food of choice?
Normally, if it's out of market, I'd love to try a local beer. You got to try,
Mhm.
local craft beer, and then food. It's always something I wouldn't like normally eat at home, right? So whether it's like I took my kids to Coors Field
Oh,
in August, and so you had to try I think it's the Biker Jim's sausage there, and try and get. I will say though, at the major league stage, you're seeing less and less craft beer and more streamlined offerings,
yeah,
or more narrowed offerings. But it's a cheat day when you go to the ballpark.
and most certainly is.
Yeah.
And if you go to the ballpark a lot, that's a lot of cheat days.
Exactly. Yeah. Try working at one. Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Okay, so if you could have one dessert for the rest of your life, which dessert would it be?
I think it's French silk pie.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think. If you let me think too long, I'll switch it, but we'll go with that.
Sounds good. Okay, would you rather go to the beach or the mountains?
Mountains.
Good man. I'm a beach guy, but there's nothing wrong with the mountains, so hanging out.
I've been lucky enough to live near both, and there's just something about the mountains that, the mountains for sure.
All right. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so if you could work at a zoo, which animal you work with?
Ha! The easy answer would be the flamingo, right? But that's like a homer
That's
answer.
too easy,
So,
right?
I think I want to be something big, like challenging, like a gorilla or something, not something that's like threatening. Or I've always thought we've got a great zoo here in Madison. I've always thought the bears were fascinating to watch. I know that's maybe a little dangerous, but you want like a bigger animal, something you could like play around with a little bit.
Very
Safely.
true.
Safely.
Very true. All right. What was your favorite cereal growing up as a kid?
I was an '80s kid growing up in Chicago, a big Michael Jordan fan. So Wheaties.
Oh,
You
yeah,
think,
when
you
he was
think I
on
would
the.
have better taste than Wheaties? I mean, it's like eating cardboard now, but
It really is, though.
yeah, it's like sorry, I hope Wheaties isn't a sponsor of the podcast here, but
Nope.
that's what I grew up on, and I don't know why I wasn't more adventurous in my cereal choices. But there's Michael Jordan was on the box, and that it was cool.
It's true. It's true. All right. Couple more. Have you ever regifted a gift?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, maybe re-given, like there's a slight nuance there. It's not like I in my role, I'm lucky to get a lot of different things. I don't want it to go to waste, so quite often I'll give it to somebody else.
Somebody else?
I won't act like it's like, hey, happy birthday, here you go. I'm not. No, I won't do that.
Maybe like a white elephant kind of thing. Put it in there.
Yeah, or let them know that I was given this by somebody else, not like I don't want the credit for it.
All right, two more.
Yeah.
What is your spirit animal in your opinion? And it can't be the flamingo now.
Yeah. I'd say some kind of bear, like a grizzly bear or something. Something's got a little fire, something that's not angry, but protective and has some energy and is always on the move.
All right. I like it. I think it's good. All right. Last one.
Or sorry, I thought of another one though. I've living in Colorado for a few years. I've always wanted to see a moose, and I've never seen a moose fly.
Man.
But I think moose are pretty majestic animal.
And they are massive.
Yeah, they're pretty cool to just watch. But no, I'd stick with the bear as a spirit animal.
I like it. All right, last one. In your opinion, what song do you think is the worst song ever?
Ha! Uh, there's a might be Talking Heads, but is it a Psycho Killer? If you know that song, but it's just very repetitive. And just, I mean, I'm sure it was great in the '80s when it came out, but not my favorite.
You're like, it's time for it to die.
Yeah,
Go in the past.
That's an automatic change the channel if that comes on.
God, thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun. Where can people find you in the and the teams?
Yeah, forwardmadisonfc.com or mallardsbaseball.com. Or if you're in Madison, we'd love to host you. And appreciate your time, Ed. It's a pleasure to be on, and we'll look forward to speaking to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And then we'll keep in touch for sure.
Thanks, Ed.
Take it. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode with Conor. Now, make sure you guys are following both Forward Madison FC as well as the Madison Mallards. Great organization. Support them, right? Go onto their website, go to their shop, get some merchandise, right? I mean, I bought some Mallards. And then I also want to thank Conor. By the time of this episode aired, of course, he sent me a hat. I have it. It's amazing. It's great. It's beautiful. So thank you so much for the hat. Now, a couple of things just to take care of before I give you guys the joke of the episode. Make sure you guys are going in and hit the subscribe button and give it 5 stars. 5 stars means I go up on the ranking. That means more people are listening to it. And I thank you very much for that. It is deeply and greatly appreciated. Now that that's done, let's get this joke in, all right? And this time, this joke came from Grant McLagan. Hopefully I said your name correct, my friend, so I do apologize if I messed it up. But here's the joke. Which soccer player has the biggest cleats? The one with the biggest feet. All right, I see myself out. Guys, until then, keep on grinding and always support the minor leagues. See ya.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Ed Rivera of the Dad Hat Chronicles. Join me as I interview people just like you and players, coaches, GMs on the path that led you to become a fan of the sport.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean. And I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball. So get on the site and find a team near you today.
Learn more about Curved Brim Media at curvedbrimmedia.com.